The hospital corridor went silent the moment a tall, masked figure stepped out of a black car and walked through the emergency doors. No cameras, no assistants, no bodyguards. Just one man, with urgency in his steps, hiding his face but unable to hide his eyes. Those eyes were filled with fear and guilt. That man was Wang Yibo. Moments earlier, Xiao Zhan had collapsed on set, and fans around the world were still panicking, not even knowing if he was stable. Rumors spread faster than the truth, screaming everywhere online: exhaustion, stress, overwork, and possibly something even worse. Yet while millions typed messages in shock, one person didn't wait for answers. He came. Quietly. Instantly. Without caring who saw him. The security guards hesitated at first, recognizing him immediately, but he didn't speak a single word. Instead, he just raised his eyes, and they understood. He walked straight toward room 318, where Xiao Zhan lay unconscious, pale but breathing. The nurses inside whispered to each other as he stepped in, but no one dared interrupt. It wasn't a celebrity moment. It was something too real, too raw for anyone to treat like gossip. Wang Yibo walked closer to the bed. The same man with whom he shared legendary fame, the same man he stood shoulder to shoulder with in the Untamed, through success and chaos, through praise and hate. Their careers, their names, and their lives were forever linked, whether they wanted it or not. Yet the world had spent years trying to separate them with competition, fan wars, rumors, and misunderstandings. And now one of them lay here, helpless. He looked down, and for a second, his expression broke. He wasn't the fierce, calm, bold superstar fans always saw. He was just a friend afraid of losing someone important. He reached out, hesitating, then gently touched Xiao Zhan's hand, just enough to feel life. His voice cracked as he spoke softly: "You can't scare everyone like this, you still owe the world your smile." The door slammed against the wall with a force that broke the silence. Both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan looked up, startled, as a familiar figure stepped inside, breathing heavily as if he had run through the entire building. It was Xiao Zhan's manager, eyes red, face tense with panic and relief all at once. The man froze the moment he realized who was standing by the bed. His shock was unmistakable. Of all the people he expected or feared to see, Wang Yibo was the last. He didn't speak at first. He just stared, as if asking 1,000 questions with his eyes alone. "Why are you here? How did you find out? What does this mean?" But Wang Yibo didn't blink. His expression remained steady. Calm. Protective. Like he wasn't here as a colleague, not as a celebrity, but as someone who refused to leave Xiao Zhan alone. The manager finally swallowed hard and whispered, "Thank you, for coming." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't fake. It was genuine gratitude coming from someone who had watched Xiao Zhan's exhaustion build, who knew exactly how much pressure had been crushing him, who had seen him faint on set more than once but never this badly. And now seeing Wang Yibo step in without hesitation, it was overwhelming. Xiao Zhan slightly shifted, pain visible even in his small movement, and the manager quickly rushed to his side, adjusting the blanket and checking his foredrip. But something changed when the manager looked up again. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't fighting alone. And that realization hit him hard. Then the sound came, loud voices, shouting outside, cameras flashing against the door's narrow window. Word had already spread that someone famous came to visit, but no one knew who. Reporters were desperate. Fans were crying outside the hospital. Security guards were struggling to hold the crowd back from breaking through. The building felt like it was shaking with curiosity. The manager opened his mouth to ask Wang Yibo to leave before the chaos got worse. The room fell into a deep silence as Xiao Zhan whispered the words again, this time more clearly, painfully struggling to speak. His voice was weak, broken, but the message cut through the air like a blade. Wang Yibo's expression hardened, and Xiao Zhan's manager shut his eyes for a moment, as if the truth was too heavy to carry. Xiao Zhan didn't collapse simply from exhaustion. He had been enduring something quietly, something invisible, something he'd been forced to hide, pressure not from fans, not from the industry alone, but from someone who had been controlling his schedule, forcing him into non-stop work despite medical warnings, someone who saw him not as a person, but as a product. Wang Yibo clenched his jaw as Xiao Zhan whispered the name. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a rival. It was someone inside his own team. A person who was supposed to protect him. A person who had pushed him to this breaking point. The manager's hands trembled, his frustration visible, guilt washing over him like a storm. He whispered, "I tried to stop him. I tried, Zhan, I really did." Xiao Zhan looked at him with tired, forgiving eyes. Even now, even weak, even hurt, he wasn't angry at the ones who cared. He was only scared of the ones who didn't. Wang Yibo stepped closer, his voice quiet but sharp. "He's not going near you again." It wasn't loud, but it was a promise. A warning. Not to the public. Not to fans. But to the person who pushed Xiao Zhan past his limit. Yibo wasn't just visiting anymore. He was about to protect him in a way no one expected. Outside, the crowd grew larger, chanting Xiao Zhan's name, begging for answers. Phone cameras flashed, the media speculated wildly. Was it illness? Was it overwork? Was it a heart condition? Nobody knew, and the truth was more painful than all of their rumors combined. Inside, the monitors beeped steadily, but Xiao Zhan's breathing suddenly turned heavier. The stress, the fear, the truth he finally said out loud began to weigh. Before anyone in the room could respond, the hallway outside their door exploded with louder voices and heavy footsteps. Someone was arriving, and they weren't trying to be discreet. The nurses and security turned tense instantly, their eyes snapping toward the source of the noise. The door handle rattled sharply, as if someone was determined to enter whether they were allowed or not. Wang Yibo instinctively stepped closer to the bed without thinking, not touching Xiao Zhan, but standing between him and the door like a shield. Xiao Zhan's eyes widened slightly, still weak, but fully aware of who was coming. His manager placed his hand on the door, blocking it with his body from whoever was trying to push in. The pressure on the handle grew louder, more aggressive, and then a voice hissed from the other side, "He's my artist. Move." The manager turned pale. He recognized the voice immediately. The one who had overworked Xiao Zhan, who ignored medical notes, who saw him as nothing more than a profitable brand. Xiao Zhan's manager tried to reason calmly. "He needs rest. You can't be here right now." The man outside scoffed. "Rest? He's got shoots lined up. Contracts signed. Do you know how much money is on the line? Open the door." Wang Yibo's jaw tightened. His eyes grew cold. He wasn't a man known for raising his voice, but this time, it was different. He wasn't a co-star now. He wasn't a colleague. He was someone defending a person who had been pushed into silence for too long. The manager whispered, "Yibo, please don't get involved." But Xiao Zhan looked at him, desperate, exhausted, silently begging him to stay. Yibo nodded once. The door pushed harder, and finally swung open. The agent stood there, dressed sharply, eyes cold, annoyed, and completely unaffected by the fact that the person he managed was lying in a hospital bed. But when he stepped in and saw Wang Yibo blocking the way, he froze. Surprise flickered through his face. If there is anything this moment taught the world today, it is that real support doesn't need cameras, and true friendship doesn't need to be spoken, it only needs to show up when the world least expects it. Wang Yibo didn't come to the hospital as a co-star, not as a business partner, not even as a celebrity known worldwide, he walked in simply as someone who cares. And sometimes, that is the strongest statement of all. As Xiao Zhan slowly regains his strength, one thing is now very clear, their bond goes deeper than rumors, it goes beyond work, and it rises above fame. It is built on loyalty, on shared struggles, on silence that speaks louder than words. Fans may disagree, media may speculate, and the internet may exaggerate, but real emotions, real concern, and real loyalty can never be staged. The world witnessed something today, the power of showing up. So what do you think happens next? Will this change their future projects? Will they be closer, or will they hide even more from the media? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget, we will continue bringing you the most heartfelt and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for what comes next. This story isn't over, it's only beginning.